Well, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Whenever and wherever you're joining us, I hope you're having a great day. Today we're going to be going through the logic breakdown of Apollo 11, which is a pretty popular song on my channel. And funny enough, when I was writing it and creating it, it actually had nothing to do with Apollo 11. The only reason it's called that, and the only reason it has, in my opinion, a resemblance to the story of Apollo 11 is because right here, build up to the chorus, I use the Apollo 11 liftoff countdown, which sounds like this.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running.
And that right there is the only reason you all got Apollo 11, which apparently must have been a good decision because a lot of you like it. So this is a very, very, very simplistic song here. 29 regions, but only 18 of those are actually stuff that I've played. 19 through 29 is just audio stuff to add some effect. And this was when I'm still trying to figure out, kind of my groove and the good kind of music I like to make. So it's definitely, considering what I've made now, especially what I'm making for the new album, hint, hint, there is a new album coming later on this year, and considering what I made then and what I'm making now, this could definitely have a lot of improvement. But I'm not here to improve it. I'm here to break down what you guys know and love. So starting up here at the very top, we have a Mellotron, which comes straight from Logic. I love doing stuff without paying for plugins and whatnot. And until very recently, I used all of this was just built into Logic. I hadn't used a single plugin whatsoever. Didn't even know plugins existed. So starting out here, we've got a Mellotron, which is set to 8 choir and flute, which is blended a little bit more to the sound A, which is the 8 choir. And we have 3 of them, and the first one is just kind of sustaining an E throughout the whole little Mellotron bit. And the second 2, are doing a bunch of big swells, and one of them probably you can't even play it on a Mellotron, but I did because I had an 88 key piano, so really, really big sound, and that's probably the most richest sound you're gonna get in this entire song. And going up through here, we got one chord that makes it really really kind of get you on the edge of your seat. That one right there. If I can really check this. Whoa. So we have a G major with a flat 9 over an E5. And it's that flat 9 that really makes you go, whoa, that is not something I hear every day. And it fits enough with the chord of E major, which is playing there, that it's like, okay, this is not the worst thing I've ever heard, but it's enough to make you go, I don't hear that all the time. And then we rise up, and then we have just an automation of the decibel gain, and we drop down to negative infinity, meaning that you can't hear it at all. And then we kind of jump right into the first build up part leading up to the chorus, which sounds like this.
PR1 for fire trains for internal on your mark. Roger, on my mark, all stages to internal power. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. All stages command internal.
Alright, that's probably enough for right now. So let's see what we got. We'll start up here with violins 1, which are playing this. So they're very plucky. They might be there's no quantization on these. I always get confused on how to say that, because honestly, when I made this, I did not know that quantizing was a thing. So it does sound very human-like, just as if someone played these notes in a piano, which I did, but the imperfections of them are, well, their imperfections. So up down here we have, which is it's something like an ocean swell, like a wave. Yeah. So fun fact, Cape Canaveral, which is where the Apollo 11 was launched, was right by the shoot. Is it Gulf of Mexico? It's either Gulf of Mexico. I think it's on the Gulf of Mexico side. Do not quote me on that. I don't know. So we just have that given kind of a swell into this first part of the build-up. And then continuing that, we have a long, drawn-out ocean surf. Which, again, all of these are just stuff that you can find within Logic. Now moving down here to basses. Boom, 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 dun, dun, dun. So this is giving us our bass tones, obviously. Playing very, very simple chords here. If I go and play it on the piano, it's only 4 chords, but one chord gets repeated twice, which is the E major. So it sounds something like... So very, very simple. The first half is just those 4 chords repeated, and I just add more layers on it to make it bigger. So this first part, very, very simple. We have a couple of chime-ins, Apollo 11 chatter, stuff like that. I think this is...
PR1 for power transfer internal on your mark. Roger, on my mark, all stages to internal power.
Yeah, okay, so this is chatter between the crew and the ground crew. And one thing that's a really key component of this entire song is this tick from this clock, which I'm pretty sure I downloaded off the internet for free. Okay, so it's actually one continuous tick. But the tick is there to kind of add suspense, because this entire first half, that includes the big chorus, is all about the lead up to the actual liftoff of the rocket. And if you think about it, there's so much that could go wrong, because there's just so many variables. I mean, the crew, the ground crew, I mean, just so much could go wrong. And it is stressful. It might have been maybe the most stressful day of the astronaut's life, the ground crew's life. I don't know why it keeps playing randomly. I'm going to have to figure that out. But anyway, you get the point. It's supposed to be giving a musical representation of the stress and the anxiety that everyone must have been feeling, even members of the crowd who were watching it lift off. Because I'm sure they're like, I don't want to see this rocket explode or anything. And this may have been, before they knew, obviously, this may have been the rocket that took them to the moon. So it's a big deal, because it's Apollo 11, not Apollo 1. So there were attempts before this that, were leading up to Apollo 11, which is the first successful mission to the moon. Anyway, I digress. So here in the second half, we add some piano, which is also straight from Logic, and it does not sound the best, but it does the job. And of course, it's not quantized at all. And what I also, if you don't know, quantization means that it will automatically lock the notes closest to the measure markings that you have set. So 95. So let's get a metronome going. 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And Logic will automatically subdivide that into more specific variables. Like I think right now it's set to 1/16. So that means 1/16 of a beat you will see on these lines. If I zoom in here, yeah, so they're already right here. So that this line is 1/16. This line is 1/16. This line is 1/16. And so all that means you can get more specific quantization of the MIDI that you play. So it's really like it's locked on beat and it can't go off. And basically what I did not know is that I could do that. So all these notes are just, slightly ahead or slightly behind the beat, which it's not enough that you can tell, but it could be more rigid, and it's not. but that's okay because the Steinways, or the piano at least, is in the background, which, and of course, just do like the little pulsating thing. I'm sure it probably took me 1 or 2 tries. All right, so we add that, and then we add more bass, which might just be, yeah, these are just hits. Boom. Boom. And all together, that sounds like this. Oh, I almost forgot. We have a pumping pluck, which gave it a little more of a, well, plucky feel. Turn the metronome off. I remember thinking to myself, this is lacking something. What else could I add? And I think I just went to this. Let's see what kind of synth this is. This is a plucked synthesizer. I was like, I'm looking for something more plucky, and I think I just, blind eye just picked this one. I'm like, this is the one I want, and so I used it. I didn't even go through this whole list because I was too lazy and I just wanted to get it done. And so this is what it sounds like. And of course, every instrument playing right now is building up and adding more layers, leading up to a big release, which is the chorus.
All stages on internal power.
We got the clock. This is one of, if not the greatest lead into a chorus I've ever had on any of my songs ever. And because there's just so much going on. So we have, of course, the one and only Subsonic Boom number 606, whatever you want to call it. Literally the magic sauce. You will find it in almost, if not, well, no, you'll find it in almost every single song that I currently release. Boom. Okay, I just can't get over how good it is. And then we've got Electro Riser and Boomer number 10. So that's a big kind of stab hit with some, I guess that just sounds like noise to me to fill it in. And then of course we have the ticking. Ticking takes a little break here. Boom. Which is really satisfying because it gives the all the focus to all engines running, which means, lift off. Everything's about to start happening. And then with this is the space shuttle. I don't know if it's actually a space shuttle, but it's called Transportation Space Shuttle. So, I'm not the one who named it. So, and that is, that's a really long one. And then we have an even longer one, which is Transport Space Shuttle Launch from Distance Rumble. Again, I'm not the one who named that. So, okay, so this is just like our big subwoofer bass right here. This is really, really rich on the low end. And then we've got one more thing. This is just a bunch of chatter from news reporters.
We have a liftoff, 32 minutes past the hour.
So that was the commentator who told all the spectators, liftoff, we have liftoff.
We have Apollo 11.
Oh boy.
I'm pretty sure that is Walter Cronkite.
Boy, it looks good, Wally.
And it actually was not planned that how well these lyrics, or these words at least, fit with the chorus. Like when he says tower clear, it goes boom. I'll play it for you.
That looks good, Wally.
Boom. It's kind of on beat. It's like boom, tower cleared, and boom. Which, I didn't plan that. I did not put that much thought into it. I can assure you that, which is, I was kind of lazy when I wrote it. I was like, yeah, that sounds good enough. I'll throw it together and release it. And Well, it paid off, and then I realized I should probably put more effort into stuff because I still don't like it, and I know I could improve it, but it's too late now because it's already been released. So maybe I'll do like a 10-year remaster or something. And then, oh, I forgot about this in the verses, but we have one of my favorite synthesizers of all time, which is 16mm Dream Sequence. I also did not name it, built-in name. Yeah, so throughout verse 1, it's just kind of hitting some simple plucks. Boom. It's doing that. And then it does the exact same thing for the chorus, which it's almost like a lead, I guess, because it's something that you hear that sticks out, kind of like an electric guitar. And it just plays that note because E is one of those notes that works with every single chord that is being played, and it's what makes the F major 7, which makes it better than F major, because obviously. Alright, one thing I will confess to you is before I started recording this, I quantized everything in here so it would be on beat and it would not kill me mentally while I had to listen to this and hear it just dreadfully off beat. If you go and listen to the original that's out right now and everywhere, it is painfully off beat, and it's not like horribly like I'm a whole entire measure late, but it's enough that it's noticeable to me, and it's enough that it pains me every time I hear it. So I did fix that just because I couldn't bear it. But here's what the chorus sounds like.
Good, Wally.
Alright, so that's the first half of the chorus, and definitely when I hear it, it goes boom, and then it cuts off. Boom. It gives each of those chords like a lot of force, and then it has one measure break, and I don't know, it sounds really good to me. And let's see what's playing. So we got strings, which are really sustaining those chords so you can hear it. Boom. Cuts off. Boom. So those are just sustaining the chord. Yeah, that's what that's doing for both parts of the chorus. And then we have the big pluck violin. So those are actually played throughout, even through the break. Boom, 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 boom. And then we've got 2 bass tracks here. Whoa. Yeah. That's giving me some kind of like, I don't know, like Trans-Siberian Carol of the Bells. I don't know. Am I the only one who's hearing that? Well, there you go. There's your daily Christmas music. Do not listen to Christmas music in July. That is weird, and it takes the whole spirit and magic out of Christmas. There's my one political opinion for the day. So we've got 16mm doing its pluck thing, and we've got, another bass track, which might be sustained. No. Okay, so it's doing some kind of ARP thing. Let's see what we got here. So a lot of elements going on here. A lot definitely for the time that I made it. I was like, when I made it, I was like, whoa, Maybe I have too much going on here. Trust me, I do not. And then we've got one and only Logic built-in Steinway grand piano. And altogether that sounds like...
Past the hour. Liftoff on Apollo 11.
Oh boy. Oh boy, it looks good, Wally.
And in the second half, we add, for sure I know, pulsating strings which go da 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 da. Alright, I can assure you my fingers are not that nimble, and I know I just recorded one MIDI track, and I just recorded another one, and I stuck those together, because there is no way I recorded that in one take by myself. Well, those sound like the exact same thing. I must be doing that just to get some extra volume out of that. So altogether, that sounds like this.
Building shaking. Getting that property.
And they were building up, building up, building up. And then we have nice resolving cutoff, and we've still got the space shuttle rumbles going, and literally everything that is right in this section is only violins, the ticking of the clock, and the rumble of the rocket. And also I'd like to point out that the ticking in the chorus goes from, so this is what it sounds like in the verse. Dun, 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 dun. And then we got the chorus. So it doubles, because this is the point of no return. I mean, you cannot just like reverse the rocket, like, oh shoot, we left something in our bags, or we left something in the hotel, we got to go back. That's not happening. So the only way you can go is forward. So for me, I would have pictured it like time is just flying by. There's nothing that you can do to slow it down, and it's just a big chaotic but kind of triumphant and epic. And that's why this chorus, maybe that's why I like it so much, is because it's both kind of like suspenseful but big and triumphant and epic at the same time. So basically, once we get to the end of the chorus with this big, this is kind of the point where everything starts to settle in. The astronauts realize they're getting further and further and further away from home. And this is kind of like the point where they can no longer, obviously, I've never been in a rocket, but I don't think you can, like, look down. I may be wrong, but I have seen Interstellar, and I don't think they were looking down. But anyway, if you watch the video that is recorded, which is inside the Saturn V, you can watch the rocket get further and further and further away from the ground, which is essentially it's the astronauts getting further and further and further away from their home. And this is the point. This is where they start to drift. They start getting farther and farther and farther away from their home, going up into space. We've got a bass coming in, which is doing a tremolo. And then right here is where things kind of go out of line. So the ticking remains the same. It is directly on beats, 1 and 4. But the violin starts to go out of time. If I turn the metronome on, oh man, it's really, that was very Very strange. But you hear it start to drag and get slower and slower and slower and slower. This was supposed to be my representation of time slowing down, because now time doesn't matter anymore, because they're heading into space and they're leaving the world and they're going on into the vast cosmos, where they will be in this rocket for a good while before they get to the moon. And this is kind of showing that all the confines of being an Earth, such as, time, gravity, stuff like that, is slipping away, because they're running off into space, and time doesn't matter anymore because they get there when they get there. And it's kind of going into a transformation, leaving Earth and going into space. So starting here, we had a violin, which is playing way too low for a violin, and basses is going absolutely insane. Piano, really quiet. Subsonic boom! And that is the point that we enter space, essentially. That is the point where we cross the, I don't know, it's some kind of Kuiper belt, I think. That's when you start to enter space. I think it's called Kuiper belt. It may be Kepler belt. It's something that starts with a K and has the word belt in it. But here is where we enter space. Boom! Right there. So let's see what's going on there. We got full strings, just sustaining the chords. Nothing too crazy going on there. And then we have violins, which if we back up here so we can hear it. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, so these are plucking. Dun, 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 dun. And then we have piano. That's not piano. We have piano taking the lead here. Which this gives me kind of the ethereal like feeling you get. Like if you watch Interstellar, Hans Zimmer, his chord to kind of to stimulate the ethereal space feeling is this. Well, I have to turn on the thing first. He plays it on the organ, obviously, but it's a C major with a flat 13th. And obviously it sounds much better on the organ, and also it sounds much better because Hans Zimmer made it. But that was his chord. It's not a standard chord. It's not C major. It's not F minor. It's not. Well, that's E augmented. It's not E major. It's not E flat major. It's something a little off to give you that kind of tension and almost otherworldly light, because that's what he was trying to get at, I think. I'm not trying to speak for Hans Zimmer here because, well, Hans Zimmer is the GOAT. But anyway, the chord here is, it's kind of like an F, add 9, and then I go. So that means it's an F sharp 9, sharp 11. So that sounds like. And then we jump right into a C major 7 13. Yeah. C major 7 13. And another quick side note about this song, it was originally called something along the lines of like, I don't know, Crystal Ocean After Work, something like that. It was supposed to originally, before I came up with the Apollo 11 idea, it was supposed to be like the tension and stress you feel when you're working at your job and stuff like that. you don't want to be there, whatnot. And then the second half was you go and visit an ocean after work. It's not my proudest moment, and I did change it, obviously, because that's what we have Apollo 11 now. But the reason it was called Crystal Ocean specifically was because I made a song like maybe 2.5 years before this called Crystal Ocean, which did sound exactly like this. It was something like that, and it was just a thing I made before I started making music under the name of ET, and I decided that I was going to repurpose that because I liked that it sounded weird but also really unique at the same time. So I completely stole my own work and I put it in here. So we've got violins and basses doing something together. Sorry, we have violins sustaining and basses. Obviously something real basses could probably never do, but that is the magic when you play everything on a MIDI keyboard. And so we have some strings copying the melody of the piano. Dun, dun, dun.
2, 3.
And then we actually add some new synth in here called Vintage Brassy Bass, which sounds like this. Wah. It just sounds like wah. Wah. Wah, wah. So that's what we got. That's the only thing new. And then of course we have our 16mm plucks. It's going a little bit differently. It's going da 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 da. It's kind of doing a counter melody here instead of just the standard. I want to do something, kind of interesting with it. Bum bum. Ba 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 bum. And then all together that sounds like. And so that's what takes us home to the very end. And I just realized that this second half, which might be considered the second chorus, is almost 3 times, maybe like 2.5 times the length of the first one, because I was just trying to fill up some space, and I think I did it successfully. But we have this this final ending part with piano only, F minor in there to add a little bit of spice. I'll go back. Whoa, I just heard something going absolutely wild in the bass. That's something a real bassist could never do. That is ridiculous. But I was just going, where is it? Bass. Because nobody could hear it, and I could get away with whatever I want. See, you can't hear it. And then we have the same ocean swell. And we got that tranquility base here. So they've made it to the moon. Congratulations. We've made it. And now the dust is settling. The doors are opening. They're hit with the fresh moon air. Maybe. They probably can't. They can't feel it. They have spacesuits on. But they make it to the moon. And here we go. The first step on another surface that is not Earth.
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
And of course, I had to end it like that. I mean, you were expecting that, right? I hope you were. But with that, that kind of wraps it up here. I mean, I talked way too much for something that only has 29 regions. But I hope you guys enjoyed this logic breakdown. I will most likely do more, not just because I didn't get any views or anything, but hopefully maybe one day I will, and people will actually watch these and enjoy these. I'm talking about a certain someone who also really likes this song. I don't want to say your name because I didn't say that I would, so you don't know. But anyway, I hope to keep doing these. I will see you guys later. Have the great rest of your day, great rest of your night, whenever and wherever you're watching this. I will see you later. Bye-bye.